today's video, we are gonna go from the worst mission to the best one. In our opinion, ranked worst to best. We're going to go through every single mission, and the only ones we are going to ignore is the Morus Trials and the special assignment with the twins, the Karnak twins. So starting with number 21, we are going to go from worst to best. My number 21, by far, will never change, is Clandestine Gloriana. The reason why I don't like this mission is, first, I think it's a bit too long. There's too much going on. They try to put too many mechanics in place. Second, there is, especially the beginning, is really annoying if you're playing anything above Damnation, like Orek, Maelstrom, Havoc, etc. When you're trying to go down the first part of the mission, there's these barrels in every corner, and there's not railing, so it's really easy to fall off or get blown away, or even the enemies can grab you and like throw you over the ledge. I found that just really annoying. And when I go through that, I'm trying to get to the bottom as fast as I can. Also, you have a holdout pretty much at the beginning of the mission almost, where you have to like interact with these like power thingies. And even if you're playing that mission in like a lower difficulty, like Heresy or regular Damnation, I don't know why. It's the only mission that I think is kind of like this. It gets nasty. There's too many gunners. There's too many specialists at once, even when it's just a regular Damnation difficulty. I don't know, it overall feels worse, like the conflict directors is spawning more stuff in that specific holdout than in other missions.
For me, Clandestine Gloriana is not one of my favorites either. I think the setting is okay. I think the snow is kind of cool. It's different. But like you said, the mission's really long, and the beginning, like just having those really trolley barrels everywhere is incredibly annoying to get through, because that beginning is super, super hard. The first holdout, like you said, can be very, very difficult. The ambush in the middle can be kind of hard too. It's not that we can't do it. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't flow as good as other ones, but the setting's cool. I do like the setting, but definitely one of my least favorites as well.
Moving to number 20, for me, is Silo Cluster. I don't know why I hate this mission so much. I think it's a combination between being a bit long, and there's some areas in the map, especially as a duo, that I feel like they are really hard to get through. There is, for example, the moment where you're in the tunnels right before the end. I think that gets really nasty sometimes, and I hate the ending. And it's funny because I'm pretty sure the ending have been always the same in this mission. They haven't made it worse or better, where you have to like interact with this ice that you have to destroy to, I think, clean the water supply or something like that is about. I can't stand it. I don't know. If that mission disappears from the board tomorrow, I will be happy.
Silo Cluster, for me, I don't mind that one as much. I think the map is okay. I think the map has a good flow. The design is one of the original ones. I do like Silo Cluster, the map itself, but right away from the beginning, when you make that first turn, when you descend down the stairs, when you look over that, half the time it is just littered with range, just snipers, guns, bombers, flamethrowers that can just go everywhere and bend at 90-degree angles. That going down those stairs is super, super difficult. And then even making the turn to go towards the heal station, the first heal station, can be very, very hard. After that, it kind of smooths out, isn't so bad. But yeah, that mission, it's not my favorite, it's not my least favorite, but it's kind of in the middle.
Moving to number 19, for me, this one is Haptraco. They changed the ending. I will not say recently. I feel like they changed it almost a year ago. I don't know. It was one of the missions that they kept changing because it performed really badly. And then they changed the ending at the end with the puzzle and everything. I hate the ending. Even when it's just regular Damnation, having to interact with those puzzles in the tree takes a long time. I haven't even seen people using mods that, in my opinion, are kind of cheating, because it tells you which of the things you need to hit, so it doesn't take that long. And when you're trying to do that puzzle, you're getting shot, and there's a ridiculous amount of prayers coming to you like almost non-stop. There's not a tiny break for you to deal with the puzzle.
Haptraco for me isn't as... I don't dislike it as much as you do. I think the mission itself is really cool. The end change is okay. They did, like you said, they did a bunch of those changes. They did changes to the ends on like 4, 5, 6, I don't know how many exactly, but a bunch of them at the same time. And that ending is before it was kind of an automatic almost, now not so much. And then even when you get past having to interact with that tree and whatnot, going across the bridge once they get blown out, that is a lot harder. So no, I do like that mission more than you, but um, just because of the setting of the mission itself. But as far as the difficulty, that ending has been ramped up a bunch, which can be super annoying to deal with.
Moving to number 18, for me, is Ascension Riser 31. I never liked this mission, even when they added it for the first time into the game. I don't know if this one is the one that was the community mission. We got it for free, one of the updates. And the concept elevator at the end is cool and everything, but it's so freaking long. And then the holdout, where you have to wait for the trains to move and everything, I just can't stand it. You're getting shot from the other side of the train. There's always snipers everywhere, snipers that you sometimes, especially if you play an ogre, it's really hard to hit because they are in the catwalk on the top. You can't even hit them that good. I don't know, I just feel like that mission overall, the concept is cool, but when you play, it sucks.
Ascension Riser 31, I kind of put mine in the same place as you, roughly. I don't think it's the difficulty, because I like when the missions are tough. We're a little bit different in that way. I like to be engaged and really have that challenge, especially playing as a duo 99.9% of the time. It is tougher. When you play as a team, all this stuff is easy. It's way easier. But the thing I don't like about Ascension Riser, and like you said, I don't know, we got this and Sycorax at the same time. One was a new mission, one was a community one. I thought this was a community one. It just felt like, and I know a lot of these zones feel the same, but it just felt like a bunch of just reused stuff. The mission wasn't really that unique to me. The only really unique thing was the very end. And the end I'm okay with. That's probably the best part, in my opinion, about it. But it's very long, and it just feels like deja vu. Like I've already ran through that mission before it was even added into the game. So not a big fan of it, and my ranking was pretty similar with yours.
Now, before we move to number 17, from 17 roughly to number 8, I would say these missions can, in any time, interchange. I don't hate them or love them, I'm kind of indifferent. So for now, we are going to go with number 17 with Complex. If I'm not mistaken, this mission was pretty much one of the newest ones when the game released for real, not in early access. From all the Throne side missions, I would say this one is the worst one. The other two, I think they are much better. And I really dislike the holdout because of how much range you have to deal with when you're doing it.
Yeah, I would agree. Complex, at Throne side, they all kind of feel the same. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them kind of feel the same, and just this one isn't as fun. For no other reason besides for me, it just isn't really as fun. And like you said, that mid holdout can be really difficult. The back half of the mission, in my opinion, is better than the first half. The first half feels pretty much like Enclave to us. So, I kind of agree with you on that.
In number 16, I will put Excise Vault Spireside. And before I get into this one, I will say that all the missions in the Hourglass, I pretty much dislike almost the same. I just don't like the desert setting. Not even in other games like Space Marines 2. I feel like it's really hard to deal with range when you have these really strong shadows where you sometimes don't see anything because it's too bright and then all of a sudden it's really dark. And this specific mission, in my opinion, is way too long.
I kind of feel the same where I ranked it, pretty similar. I think I don't love the outside missions either. Mostly because of the range. There's just so much range shooting at you from all kinds of different angles. It's not that you don't know where they are, it's just, I don't know, it can be really hard to deal with sometimes. And then the end is okay. I'm okay with the end, but it's also very, very long. So not my favorite. I don't not like it. I just don't love it. So for me, I agree. It's kind of in the middle.
In number 15, I don't know about you, but I have Chasm Logistratum. The number one thing I dislike about this mission is how long it can be, especially playing as a duo. If it's a high difficulty one, you get stuck in places. And you go from 20, 25, 30-minute mission to an hour and 10 minutes. So all the long missions overall I dislike in this game. And this one specifically I don't like because the first holdout is okay, can be nasty, but it's fine. But the part that I absolutely can't stand is when you're in the tunnels, like in the train tunnels, towards the end. And the end itself, when you have to move the things from the trains, I think it can get pretty nasty to the point that you get completely stuck inside the train and you can't even move.
Okay, for me, Logistratum, I don't agree with you in the ranking at all on that one. I actually really like that mission. It is a little bit long, and it can be, in my opinion, one of the most difficult missions to do on the super high difficulties, which I really like, the challenge and stuff. It's the dumb challenge, like when there's just a stupid amount, we were talking about Excise Vault, where there's just a bunch of little guns everywhere, and it's just so hard to deal with that many as a duo. This one, you can kind of funnel them. It can be really tough when you get the monstrosities in certain places. I don't mind that one. I don't really have too much bad to say about it. I just don't mind it. The beginning can be super hard sometimes. Like, just right away it can be incredibly hard. The mid holdout's not bad. The going in the train tunnels can be super hard, especially if you get a monstrosity, and then the end can be challenging. So overall, I really kind of like that mission.
Moving to number 14, for me here is Dark Communion, and I'm pretty sure this one is one of the newest one we had. This one, the only thing I really like, I would say, is the ending, because it's completely different to anything we have done before, where we had to kill these priests that are trying to do something with this guy that have this green thing going on. I like that. I think that's the best part of the mission, the end. I don't think it's that long either, but from the carnival missions, I think it's the worst one. I think the other two are much, much better than this one. That's what this one is specifically, kind of in the middle.
I agree. I have it a little bit higher than you, but I would agree. I think it's my least favorite one from the carnival. The ending is cool. I agree with that. And I'm just indifferent with it. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great. I think it's okay. Out of the new ones that they've added recently, that was one of the better missions for sure, in my opinion.
And now, before you say, I only hate the long missions, I actually don't like the next one, number 13, that much. Even if I feel like it's considered one of the short ones if you don't count Rolling Steel. And this one is Relay Station. Number one reason why I don't like Relay Station is, first, it's part of the hourglass, so again, the desert setting, I don't like that one. But the biggest problem I have with this mission is it feels really stressful to do. The moment you pretty much enter the end, where you have to go up the stairs and then do the ending, I feel rushed. I feel like if I don't get to the end right away, more things are going to spawn and then we're going to fail. And I hate that feeling.
Relay Station, I feel similar. It's part of the hourglass. For the same reasons, I don't really love Excise Vault, even if it is a shorter one, because I'm okay with some longer ones. It's not just I don't like the length on the missions. Being short is fine. It's just the same reason. A lot of times, not the whole time, but a lot of times you're outside and there's just so much range. As a duo, you got two other players with you, it's going to be a lot easier, but as a duo, there's just so many little gunners. It's not even the big ones, not even the shotguns or the gunners, just the little ones. They're just everywhere, and they're just sometimes overwhelming and hard to deal with.
Coming number 12, the last one from the hourglass, Refinery Delta 17. I didn't mind this mission that much at the beginning, the first few times we did it. It was pretty hard. I would say mostly at the beginning it was pretty hard when the game was new. Mostly because the skills were not that good and we were new to the game and all that stuff. But I don't know, I just feel like this mission is one of those that I sometimes forget about it. There's nothing that I say, oh, that is amazing, oh, that is fun, or that is hard. It's just kind of, I don't really care.
I would say similar reasons as Relay Station, Excise Vault is why I don't totally love Refinery Delta. I feel kind of similar about it. Now, I do believe Refinery Delta, I don't think you're outside as much, so it's not as big of a deal, but that middle holdout can suck a little bit, having to deal with taking out those little eyeballs and stuff, and the end can be a little bit annoying. Again, as a duo, it can be a little bit annoying, so I don't know. And like you said, it is one we forget about, because I would say this is probably one of our least played missions. I definitely would say we play this one the least, and not because it's our least favorite. I don't know, we just don't play this one very much.
And in number 11 for me is Rolling Steel. Again, this one is technically a special operation mission, but it's in the map, rotating all the time, so we count it as a regular mission. And I thought it was going to be lower in the list for me because of how rushed it feels, since there's a time limit. But I actually like the concept of being in a moving train, and I think the biggest The biggest reason for that is that we had this mission in Payday 2, and it feels like I'm playing Payday 2 again because it does feel similar.
Yeah, for me, Rolling Steel, I just like it a lot more. I like, okay, the idea on moving train and having a time limit is okay, but it's a really short mission and it's just a speed run. There's nothing really, like, yeah, you're on a moving train, but I just don't think there's anything that unique about it, other than that you're on the train. And it's so short, and if we're counting it as a real mission, I mean, it's way different than anything else. I don't really like it. I don't really like it. On really hard difficulty, that mission can get out of control, and you just, as a duo, you just get overwhelmed, and it's really hard to deal with. I don't like it. I don't like that mission at all.
In number 10 for me is the Chasm Station. If I'm not mistaken, this one is like the one that you have to do the elimination at the end too, like Magistrati, but it's in the Chasm Terminus area. If I have one complaint, I would say that the holdout, where you have to interact with this thing in the middle, can get pretty challenging as a duo. There is a lot of shotgunners that spawn on the side and the front, a lot of snipers. But overall, I don't know, I feel like it's a really fun mission, maybe because we haven't played that much, so I feel engaged with it. And I like that it's a elimination mission. I like those missions.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of in the middle for me, in that range of could be swapped out for higher or lower. It's a fine mission. I don't think we played as much. We played more in Refinery Delta, but we don't play too much. And I agree with you that I like the elimination missions. They're kind of fun. So overall, it's a fine mission. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's kind of in the middle.
And speaking of elimination missions, on number 9 for me is Magistrati Oubliette. That is the other elimination mission we have in a different song in the torrent. This one I think I like a tiny bit better than the one we just talked about, just because I feel like it's a bit easier from the 2 elimination ones, but it's still engaging.
For me, Magistrati, I have it pretty similar to you. Not exact, but pretty similar. I like, again, the elimination. The mission's a bit shorter. It is and can be challenging. I think the fight at the end is maybe a little bit easier than Chasm Station. The only thing, and I like this mission, so don't get me wrong, but the only thing that I think can be considered annoying for me would be when we go through the sewer, and then we drop down. Going through the sewer can be hard, and then dropping into that big rectangle area by the heal station right before the holdout, that can be really annoying. It reminds me a lot of being outside in the Hourglass, because there's so many guns. There's a demon host somewhere, then you get a Chaos or a Nurgle. Chaos throws you off the ledge, and you have to clutch up, and you have to go get your teammates on the top. The holdout itself isn't bad, but that spot, like, if you can get past that spot, I feel like we probably can beat it. But that's the only spot that I wouldn't say I don't like it. It's just like the most challenging spot in my opinion.
In number 8, another one from the torrent, Visual Station Oblivion. This mission, it was at some point a bit higher in the list, but again they did some changes and now it's a bit more annoying, especially the ending. But overall, I don't know, I feel kind of being different. I feel like the same kind of with my strategy. I like both equally, and I don't know, I don't feel like one mission is better than the other. I think I can swap those at any time.
I feel pretty similar about Vigil Station. I like the map. I like the mission itself. They did change the end a little bit, but that doesn't really bother me, even if it is a little bit more difficult. I really don't have much to say about it. We play this one quite a bit. I think the searching for the little relic thingy where you have to do that parkour is kind of cool. So going up the stairs is more fun in this one than going down the stairs in Silo Cluster at the beginning. Yeah, I don't mind Vigil Station. It's a decent mission, in my opinion.
In number 7 for me is Power Metrics. This one is the first one we have mentioned right now as part of the Metal Fab song. And I would say I actually enjoy doing this mission. I, in fact, enjoy the ending. Surprisingly, I usually don't like the ending in a lot of missions. And I don't know, I feel like the setting of the factory and everything, even if we share some with the other 2 we haven't mentioned yet, I think overall it's a solid fun mission. And I think my favorite part is when you're trying to get to the big elevator after the holdout that is quite late in the game, in the mission itself. I don't know why, I know it's stupid, but I just like trying to get to the elevator right before you do the ending. I think it's fun.
I had Power Matrix a little bit like lower rated than you did. I think as a mission, as a design, that is one of the... It has a really unique design. I like the flow of it. I like the few changes they did. They did a little bit in the middle, and then they did a little bit at the end because they're trying to like combine them. There's like snow now at the end. So overall, I think that mission's really good, and I do like it a lot. The problem, I think, is why it dropped a little bit is because we have played that mission a ton. I would say that's one of the missions we play the most. It's on the mission board when we play at the time. It's like always there. It was a lot for our Havoc runs. I have just played it so many times that I'm kind of tired of it, but that doesn't mean it's not good. So yeah, Power Matrix is a great mission.
Moving to number 6, for me is Enclaving Barrows. Enclaving Barrows, I'm not totally sure how to pronounce that. That mission is a bit lower in the list because of how tired of doing this mission. But overall, I think it's a great throne side mission. I think the setting is good. I like the ending. I feel like it's one of those missions that if we need to beat something in the hardest difficulty, is the one that we usually can beat. They changed the ending to make it harder, where you can just be in one corner. You're going to get enemies in the back, enemies in the front. You have to be kind of like me, more aware or even moving around. But overall, I think it's fun. The challenge is fun. If I had to complain about something, I would say that the new way of doing the first holdout with the bridge is harder, but it's not so hard that I think they destroy it. I think it's actually still pretty engaging.
This is actually the first one where we match up. I had Enclaving Barrows as 6 as well. I love that mission. It's if we're having a hard time and we're failing a bunch, and we have the chance to play Enclaving Barrows on Auric, Shock Trooper Gauntlet, Damnation, there's a 99% chance we'll beat it. Even with the changes to it, I just like it. It was one from the beginning that I enjoyed. The only part that I think is like kind of hard is just the beginning. Just the beginning, because you run that same problem with just tons of little guns usually, that are, peppering you and stuff. So if you can get past that, usually you're pretty good, or usually we're pretty good. Just the mission as a whole, I think is really good. I love Enclaving Barrows.
And in number 5, for me, is Consignment Yard. I would say that this mission overall have a good flow. The holdout in the middle-ish is still pretty good. It's fun to do, even if you have a lot of guns that are shooting you when you have to do the puzzles. And if I have only one complaint, is that getting to the actual holdout at the end, I feel like sometimes it's harder than just holding out. So if I have one complaint, I wish that was a tiny bit more balanced.
Yeah, Consignment Yard is a mission that we've played a ton, and generally speaking, we can get through it. I think the changes to the end, like you said, just getting a lot of specials, right, when you jump down and then jump down out of the train to go towards the heal station and stuff, that is probably harder than the actual end, like you said. The other part that I think can be hard, I think my least favorite part about that mission is probably when you go up the stairs and then you have that platform that's part of Smelter Complex, that square platform, and you're kind of looking down at the heal station right before you get to the showers. That whole section can be really, really tough, in my opinion, but I like that. I like the challenge. But yeah, if I had to say one spot that's really, really hard in that mission, it would be there. But overall, yes, I like Consignment Yard as well.
Moving to number 4, Smelter Complex. I think this mission overall is pretty unique. I like the setting of having pretty much the lava at the end of the mission. I even like that they completely changed. Remember that room that was before the ending, that they kind of opened it, they broke it? Sometimes get the monstrosity there. I actually like that change. I think that was great, because I think you can deal with the wave or whatever is there easier than before. And overall, I don't know, I feel like the factory setting is really cool.
I agree with you. I had Smelter Complex at number 4 as well. It's one of my favorite missions. It's one of those that pretty much can always beat. There isn't really anything in that mission I don't like. I would also agree, I do like the end, how they changed when you go into the airlock or whatever, and then it opens up, kind of towards the end, how there's a lot more area there to move, and we've gotten like a Nurgle or a bunch of a huge wave and stuff, and you can move around enough and jump down and then go back up, that I think it's just the flow and the way to fight there is better. It doesn't feel quite as congested. So and then the end too, how they changed the ending. And yeah, it sucks that you don't have that little head glitch by the door where you can just peek over, but I like the changes to the end. I actually like all the changes they did to that mission, and overall I have it as number 4 as well.
In number 3, I have the Warring. And I know I've been complaining how missions are too long. The Warring, I would say, is kind of long. But I don't know, I just enjoy doing this mission. If I have to complain about something, I would say the back-to-back holdouts when you get the ambush and then you have to deal with like the ventilation after that. It's a bit too much sometimes. I don't know, overall I think it's just so fun where you have to destroy the things, the screen stuff at the end. I feel like the mission have a lot of flow, you don't stop moving. It can be really challenging, but you can actually survive in a lot of areas as well. So I like that.
I also had the Warren at 3. It is basically one of my favorite missions. I think the design of it, I like the zone that it's in general, like those missions, but the design of it's good. The ending, like you said, is kind of unique. It is a little bit long, but I don't know, it's fun, it's tough. I think the ending is good. Now, when the ending begins, in the beginning that was like next to impossible as a duo, because you can have to scan one of 2 options. You go left or you go to the right, to the middle. If it was in the middle, it was really difficult to deal with because there was so much range on top of that bridge that was really hard to get to. But then they kind of nerfed it and made it a little bit more doable. So yeah, the Warren, awesome, love playing it. It is a long mission, but in my opinion, very, very fun.
Coming in number 2, another Carnival mission, Mercantile. I would say this mission was at some point one of my favorite ones. I thought the neon light section right before the end, right before you go to the Coliseum area, that you have these red lights, look really cool. It's really hard to survive there, especially in high shock or damnation as a duo. But I don't know, just the setting was so unique. I loved the dialogue of the characters talking to us. I thought at some point we were going to fight one of those guys because there's like this big plaza that it looked like an arena almost, and then you have the ending that you're literally in a Coliseum waiting to get rescued. Now, if I had to say something negative about this mission, they recently changed the ending. They don't let you be in the entrance area of the Coliseum anymore. They force you to be kind of like in the middle, and the problem is as a duo, maybe with a full team is fine, it's really hard to survive, and now there's not really a spot, especially if you have a big character like the Ogre, it's really hard to take cover from all the guns.
I had the Mercantile at number 2 as well. It's obviously second favorite mission in the game. Even with the changes to the end was like guaranteed. Yeah, you could get a couple guys coming at you from the left or right side over the fence, but generally speaking, it just was a guarantee. Now, it still isn't too bad, but you have to pick and choose where you want to be a little bit better and deal with things differently before you can just stand there because you knew where they were going to come from. So the change to the end, while it was a little bit annoying in the beginning, we played it enough, it's not bad. I would say, actually, one of the hardest parts for us is at the beginning, the first holdout. I think that can be really tough depending on what you get, and then running down in the bottom to that first holdout. I really enjoy that area. Market area kind of place is really cool. So yes, even with the changes, I still love them.
And finally, coming in number 1, my favorite mission of all time, and I think it's probably yours too, is our Cabin Secrets. If you have been in the channel for a while, maybe you have seen this video, but we actually speed run this mission with the 2 Ogres and Bull Rush. It was really fun, and it was the first time where we didn't have a holdout. We could just keep moving when you're in these like tunnels with the music. I think the soundtrack for that song was one of the best ones I've heard from this game, and I don't know, it was so dynamic and so flowy that I really enjoyed this mission. A lot of times I complain I don't love the setting, especially like the desert missions, and in this one, whoever designed this mission or the team behind, I think they did a really good job in my opinion. I love that it's kind of like a big library, and then in the second part of the mission where you have to go down this like floating staircase, kind of like in Harry Potter fantasy world. I just think it's so unique. I love it.
Our Cabin Secrets was number 1 for me as well. Just the design of the mission was amazing. It's flowy and fast, like you said, and the fact that there's nothing to slow you down. It's kind of how fast you can go. We use the Ogrins and beat it like it's a really short mission, or it can be a really long mission. I like every spot, there's not anything I don't like about that mission. They haven't really changed it that much. I mean, they ramped up some difficulty and things, but overall, it's challenging, it's fun, it can be fast, it can be a longer mission if you move slow. It's just awesome, especially the second of the mission. Okay, so that was your list. We agreed with a majority of it. If it wasn't exact, it was pretty similar. I'm just going to run through mine really quick here, just not say anything about them. But starting from worst to best, number 21, Rolling Steel, Clandestium Gloriana, Ascension Riser 31, Silo Cluster, Complex, Refinery Delta, Relay Station, Excise Vault, Spiricide, Hap Draco, Chasm Station, Consignment Yard, Power Matrix, Vigil Station, Dark Communion, Magistrati, Enclave Barras, Chasm Logistratum, Smelter Complex, Warren, Mercantile, Archive, and Sycorax.
Guys, that was everything for today's video. That was our ranking worst to best of the missions we absolutely hate and the ones we actually like. If you have different opinions about what we say here, remember we are playing as a duo, not as a full team, and we have almost 2,000 hours in the game, so we are sick and tired of some of them. Let us know down in the comment what you think about our rating, and thank you so much for watching.